All right, Candace, I'm gonna make my bread. So I'll walk you through what I do. I sent you the recipe that I've been using, and it's working pretty good. And then I kind of just that's for all white flour, but I'll kind of just swap out some whole wheat if I want to try it. Anyway, pull my starter out of the fridge, and you notice it's got tons of bubbles, so it's doing really good, and it's ready. Like that is ready, good and ready. And the bottom, you can see the bottom doesn't have bubbles, and it's kind of has a thick, just not as many. It's because it kind of went too long in the fridge, and so it needs to be fed again. So that'll start happening. It'll either separate at the bottom, or you'll get like a separation on the top, or like a black liquid on the top, or a darker liquid. But you can, don't worry about the liquid. It's not a big deal. You can just mix it back in and use it. So I'm gonna put in my 1.5 flour. So the total flour recipe is 3 1/4. So I'm gonna do 1.5 each of flour and whole wheat flour. And then I forgot to grab. And then I think it tastes good with a little bit of rye. I've been trying to use more rye, but it doesn't work as good. So just a little seems to work better. And I gotta put you down because I'm not ready. So I'll just use 1/4 cup of the rye flour. And drop that in there. And then this probably be the worst video ever, but I'm not a video guy. So then you do 1/4 cups of water. And then, oh yeah, then a 1/2 tablespoon of salt. You have to put it down again. So 1/2 tablespoon of salt. And then I actually, oh man, I should have figured this out a little better. I'll actually use, so I do, oh, you can see inside there's a little bit of black, dark liquid that's starting to form, and that's okay, you just mix it back in. So, oh boy, this is gonna be tough. The thing I do different with the recipe is I just use all of the starter that I've already have in the fridge. I don't use just a certain amount, I just use it all. And then I'll stir it all up because the stuff at the bottom is a little different consistency, and then you may have some liquid at the top if you left it in the fridge too long. So I'll just stir it up, and then I'll dump the whole thing in there. So I pretty much got it all in there. You can see there's not much left in the jar. And we'll just use that little bit, it's not hardly anything in the jar, to start the process again for our starter. But for now, you just give this a quick stir. Mix it up. I forgot I had a pause. So if you're using more whole wheat, then you may have to add a little bit more water, but I'm still trying to figure that out exactly how much. But like after I mix this together, it just seems a little bit dry, but because because I'm used to it a little more wet. So I might put in like another eighth of a cup of water or something, maybe. Anyway, next step is you just cover it with some saran wrap and then wait 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and do a fold on it. I'll show you how to do that. So it's been 20 minutes, so time to stretch this a little bit. So pull that off. The white flour is a lot easier. You'll like start pulling it and it'll start holding together a lot easier. But if you add wheat, then it's a little tough. It just starts breaking apart. You're wanting it so that when you pull it up, it just stays together. It just stretches. So that's why you're doing this process, and you're going to do this process about 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to pause it for a sec. Sorry, when I meant 2 or 3 times, I meant like the wait 20 minutes, do it again, wait 20 minutes, do it again, wait 20 minutes, do it again. But each time you're doing it, so like I just did this about 6 or 7 times, pulled up, and then grab another corner, pull it up, and then fold it down, and grab another little corner, pull it up, fold it down, and then this is going to develop the gluten, I think it's called, that holds it together. So I'm just going to do that maybe like another 10 times. It just depends on if it's working or not. Like right now, this is not working that great, so it's getting a little better, but it's still pulling apart like that. So that's why then you let it sit for another 20 minutes and do it. It'll be even better. So I'll come back in 20 again and show you. It's been 20 more minutes, and you can see, so right when I got done the last time, it was starting to stick, but at the beginning of each one, it's going to be a little like this. So let me work on this. I'm going to do like 10 folds, and I'll show you. So actually, after like 5 or 6 folds, it was good. Like you can see how I can pull up really hard and it's not pulling apart. So that's what you want. So this is pretty much good because I did like 10 folds, and then I'll let it sit again for 20 minutes, and I'll do it one more time, and then I'll let it just sit overnight because I want to cook it in the morning. If you didn't want to do it in the morning, you could just put it in the fridge for like 24 hours, and then I'll show you what I do tomorrow morning. Okay, so it's been like 12 hours, and you can see that the bread is it's gotten bigger, a little bigger. Sometimes it can get even bigger than that, I don't know, but it's raised. It could probably go a little longer, but I don't know if I necessarily need to. But the first thing to do is get your bread basket ready, and you prep it with a little rice flour. For the very first time when you get one of these, you need to spray the inside with some water, like from a spray bottle. But since then, I don't do that anymore, and I just like get some rice flour in there, which I already have a little in there, and then just run it around it. Make sure it's kind of coated around. And then I put a little bit of water down on the kitchen counter, like, I don't know, just an 1/8 cup or something, or I just grab a handful and then just spread it around a little bit. So we're going to get the bread out, or the dough out, and spread it. So here we're just going to spread it into a big rectangle. We're just stretching it out. And it might tear a little bit, but if if it does, oh well. If it doesn't, like this one, I got lucky and it's not tearing at all. I don't know why. So that's good. And then I fold the third in, and then the other third on top, and then you roll up this side. Sometimes it's more sticky and wet, sometimes it's not. This is not, which I'm surprised. But then you have these ends, and you kind of just pull the ends down so that it's a completely covered loaf kind of thing. I don't know how you say that. And then I just use the excess rice flour, just kind of put on top a little bit and a little bit on the sides. So that's, I think it's called a bowl, maybe? I don't remember. And then that just goes into the bread basket. And it's already pretty full. It doesn't have to raise much more. And I just put that plastic back on again. And then this is going to take, I don't know, a couple hours, 2-3 hours maybe, to get ready till it's ready to go in. I just kind of let it go to the top, but there's a supposed test anyway. So it's been longer than the 2 or 3 hours, because at like 3 hours it wasn't all the way to the top, so I just left it for another couple hours, and now it's like, you know, poofed up. I either like poof up to the top or just barely over, but supposedly if you push on it and it holds the indent, then it's either ready or passed. I can't remember. So I got the oven heated to 45 is what I do for 25 minutes, and then I go down to 385 for 15. But previously I've done 485 for 25 and 425 or 435 for 20 minutes, like 25 and 20. So it's just going to be like you're just going to have to figure out what works for your oven. Like if it gets too done and kind of burnt, it still tastes good, but it's better if it's not. So I'm going to pull the Dutch oven out. And if you have previously cooked in it, then you're going to have, like, sometimes the flour, if I don't get the flour out and haven't cleaned it, then it just lets off this huge thing of smoke. And then I've noticed too that if I spray mine a little bit with some oil, then it's easier to it comes out easier at the end. So I'm just going to spray a little bit. And then carefully turn it over and in. There's the loaf, and then I cut it, score it, and then put it back on. Okay, so I got it back in the oven. I'm going to go 25 minutes. Oh, if I told you that you keep the lid on, so you keep the lid on, and then after the 25 minutes, then you pull the lid off. Bread is looking very done. And I'm going to go down to 385, and I'm going to go 15 minutes. Actually, I'm going to go less because it looks like it's already almost done. I got to the end, and the bread looks like way done, so I'm calling it. I I just use this thing to get it out, whatever you can use. Then you're supposed to let it sit for at least 20 minutes till you cut into it. I made the mistake of cutting into it right away, and it's never that great. So there you go, Candace. Good luck. I'll get you the whatever recipe, how to keep that started going soon.